everyone, and welcome to the MotoAmerica AMA-FIM North American Road Race Championship, the MotoAmerica Championship of New Jersey at New Jersey Motorsports Park in Millville, New Jersey. Round 9 of 10 for 2018, the penultimate event of the MotoAmerica season, and we're getting ready for the Liqui Moly Junior Cup race. I'm Greg White. Sitting alongside me is Jason Pridmore, who has won a couple national championships at this level in his day. Well, I mean, not Liqui Moly Junior Cup stuff, although I'm sure you wish this class was around when you were a young racer, huh?
It would have been very great to have this class around. And, you know, we got a lot of young talent here in MotoAmerica. And when this series was bred here 3-4 years ago with MotoAmerica, their whole plan was, let's get some of these young talents and move them through our series and on to other places. And right now we've got a lot of talent here in this class. Here we
Built
go, Greg.
in 2008, Jason, take us around this 2.25-mile road course.
A lot of fun. This track never really, you're always busy on it. You head down this big, long front straightaway into turn 1, turn 2's a little bit of elevation change up over the top into this chicane. Turn 3 is a little bit tricky. And the reason why this track's tricky, Greg, is because it's only got really 3 lefts. Through fast turn 4, brake for turn 5. Turn 6 is another one of those elevation turns when you're tipping in, you can't see the apex of the corner. Down to turn 7, 8, and 9, all right-handers, accelerating back uphill a little bit. Turn 10, your last real left-hander on the track. Got to be careful coming out of there. We saw a couple little incidents in the rain this morning. Threw some fast S's into one of my favorite turns on our calendar, that last corner here, turn 12. It's going to be very, very fast on these little bikes. They'll be flat out through turn 12. And then you have enough time, especially on these little 300 machines, to do some drafting before you get to the finish line.
Track is wet from rain we've had in the area. Doesn't seem to be falling at the moment, but it's been coming and going as we are in the middle of transitioning from extreme summer conditions into fall conditions literally overnight. When people were here on Thursday, it was in the 90s, and it felt like somebody posted, actually, Jason, that it felt like 135 degrees. That was something online. But yesterday it was really hot, really humid, 85, 89 degrees, and all of a sudden now we show up today, it's about 70 and wet, and that's what we expect. But so rain tires going to be on this one. We are anticipating 13 laps in this Liqui Moly Junior Cup race. And there's your pole sitter right there.
And even though the track is, you know, we don't have any rain coming down right now, this track dries extremely fast. We've seen some races here in the past where it's been half wet, half dry. When the wind gets going here at the track, it can get going. It can dry very quick. If you look down towards turn 1, you see the flags, and it's definitely blowing as we get a chance here to look at our grid. Ashton Yates right now running second in the championship, got pole position. Renzo Ferreira on really good form. We've seen him win a race this year as well. Lines up right in the middle of that front row with Alex Dumas third. Then we got Kevin Almeida, Toby Kamsuk, and Jackson Blackman. Then we go back to Jay Newton, Corey Ventura, and Jamie Astudillo. Row 4, Gavin Anthony, Mark Edwards, Damian Jigalov, his first time here in Jersey. So expect to see him kind of maybe roll a little bit forward. Gage Reese, Jarrett Desaney, Dylan Deutschlander. Then we got Joe Blasius, Sean Varski, Trevor Standish back there in row 6. Row 7, Hunter Dunham, Nate Minster, Teague Hobbs, who was very fast in the wet this morning. Ryan Deutschlander, Dallas Daniels, good to see him back here. Jack Leclerc. Dallas actually hurt himself here a few months ago, so it's good to see him back there. Benjamin Ferris, Tyler Whistle, and Dominic Doyle round out our field in row 9. But yeah, rain tires was the easy choice here, Greg, especially for this race, even though it does dry quick, where I was going with that. So all these bikes should be on wets.
Once again, 13 laps scheduled as we take a look at the front row of competitors, Kawasaki's and KTM's. And of course, there are Yamaha R3s in the mix as well. So as we get ready to look at this race, Jason, you know, this lap here, very critical, you think, to find out where if there's any standing water and if places are drying?
The place doesn't drain that bad as long as it's not pouring rain, because it's so flat here, we don't have a lot of elevation. So most of the time when you come to tracks like this, it makes it very difficult to drain. We saw that a couple weeks ago at Silverstone for the MotoGP race, lots of standing water. This place has a few little crowns to it, but it doesn't drain too bad as long as it's not pouring down. But and these little bikes, Greg, in the wet or the dry, they just always, the difference in times isn't that much. You get a good look at Ashton Yates on our screen. He really has been a little bit in this class. Yesterday he was extremely fast. These guys only chipped away at his lap time towards the end. Did Renzo Ferreira and Alex Dumas. They only got down into the 32s very late in the session. But in the wet, it just kind of brings everything back. Now, Ashton did get to go out and ride on the 600 a little bit in full rain conditions, so that might help him a little bit. But the dynamics of a 600 and the 300s are quite different. So we'll be interested to see how he adapts that. He's in a bit of a position now where he has to win to try to kind of keep this championship going in the direction that he wants it to go. 64-point lead right now, I believe, for Alex. So really, Ashton's just got to try to go out there, win races, and see where Alex ends up.
An international affair here in the Moly Junior Cup class. Ashton Yates out of Milledgeville, Georgia, on the Yates Racing into 400. Alex Dumas on the outside of row number 1, KTM Origin Brigade KT43 training out of Quebec, Canada. And out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, and the Portuguese racing machine is Renzo. And this class, if you're joining us for the first time, the Moly Junior Cup is designed to showcase younger talent. So it actually has an age bracket, I guess you could say, from 14 to 25 years old, and designed for try to get these machines to be equal in terms of equipment and speed. And that's been an adjustment that MotoAmerica has been making during the course of the season.
That's right. They've done everything they can to try to get this class as competitive as we can make it and get it to where these bikes are all going to be somewhat close. And now we've seen some of the Yamahas. We've seen Corey Ventura win. And we've seen some other guys in the class. Jake Newton comes to mind that have been very competitive on the R3. We've seen Renzo win a race. We've seen Jamie Astudillo do incredibly well as Dallas Daniels. And of course, we saw Renzo win like I said, at Utah. So, and Ashton Yates being on the Cowie as well. So we've definitely seen some different manufacturers take wins and do well.
So far this season, 4 different race winners and 12 different competitors on the podium. So here we go as we get ready for race number 1. MotoAmerica Championship.
First laps are always in the rain, especially if you lead. So when you lead off into turn 1, you're kind of the test rabbit. So we'll see who gets off to a great start. We've seen Ashton get some good starts on that Kawasaki the last 3 or 4 rounds, but we'll see who leads down into turn 1. We know Renzo spent some time overseas. He's probably used to riding in the rain a little bit as well.
Here we go. Red lights go on and off, and clutches will be out, and we'll mad dash down to turn number 1. And we're off.
Great start from Ashton and Renzo, a full front row, really. And then it looked like coming from 4th there, Kevin Almeida maybe. He got a great start as
problem.
well.
Ashton Yates with a big problem.
Man.
He drifts back, right part of your screen, looking down at his motorcycle. So our pole sitter looks like he had a problem right from the go.
Could be clutch, Greg. We've seen that before. Ashton's gone straight back, and I'm looking for him. He's coming up over the top of the hill, but he got a really good launch. But yeah, it looks like something happened very early there with him. So out front right now, Jackson Blackman. Then we've got Renzo Ferreira running in 2nd, and it looks like slotted 3rd there is going to be Kevin Almeida, and then Alex Dumas running 4th. I saw Jamie Astudillo up there as well, but it looks like Corey Ventura has found his way around her.
So Jackson Blackman, number 18. Leading the way. He's the one you were talking about, Jason. He's the rabbit at the moment.
That's right.
On the Riders Law Racing Yamaha YZF R3. And that's another thing is the spray, Jay. You know, earlier on when there was a lot more standing water or it was raining, it was really daunting. Here, it just seems like they're sprayed in spots. Looks pretty good on the visibility standpoint at the moment. As Alex Dumas, points leader, in 4th spot, trying to find his way around.
And he'll be happy to know he's got Corey behind him, and because I've said it before. Here we go. We got somebody down real early. Teague Hobbs, I believe that is, Greg, who's gone down in the turn 5 area. I saw some yellow flags, but he's up and he's okay. He's just trying to get his bike started. But you know, Alex, if he knows that Corey's behind him, Corey's a very, very intelligent rider, and knows where he's at in the points too. He's 3rd, so he's not completely out of the championship yet at all. He can still, I believe he's 3rd, Greg. He can still.
Corey Ventura, yeah.
Yeah, he's 3rd. So he's still in with a shout. How many points back
71.
is he? So he's 71 points back. So Alex right now, with Ashton being out, Alex needs to have a 75-point lead at the end of the day to actually wrap up the championship. Oh, there's a big crash on the front straightaway, Greg. Big crash. It's Ashton Yates down on the front straightaway right now, right in the middle of the track. And he gets up and out. So, wow.
Pass for lead.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jay. Yeah.
Yep. Sorry about that.
That was out of our commentary
That
position.
just happened right in front of us, right on the thing. So good to see him up and okay.
We saw it on the back part of the screen too. We saw the.
That's where I saw it to start with. Yeah, I saw it right there. And there's Ashton's bike. So obviously Ashton had a problem at the start, was trying to get going again, and he's going to jump up over the wall. Good to see him okay. You can see Aaron was sitting there.
His dad, Aaron Yates.
And that's huge implications now for the championship. So really the only guy that can stop Alex Dumas right now from winning the championship, other than if Alex has an issue, is
Corey
Ventura.
Number 64.
If the race finished right now, this championship would go on to Barber, or go on to tomorrow as well.
So 75 points is the mark for Alex Dumas in terms of collecting his points. So what Alex needs to do if he wants to try to wrap this championship up today, is he needs to get to the front. Of course, the way these riders are dicing it up right now, you might sit there and think, all right, just let me let them sort themselves out and see if there's any disasters that happen on the sharp end. Dumas in 4th on the orange bike is 31. Renzo Guerrero going after it.
Kevin
Another one
Almeida.
of our race winners from earlier on this year.
Kevin Almeida just makes the big pass, though, as they go into this turn 9-10 area. He was able to slip up underneath the inside of Renzo. And both Alex and Corey are just kind of back there watching this battle for the front. You got 3 different brands right now running up in the front of this race.
And Kevin Almeida out of El Salvador on that Monkey Moto AGV Sport machine, having a go at it at the front at the moment. He'll get passed by a Kawasaki. Will he slide back to 3rd spot?
Jackson Blackman also trying to go, and that's what you got to do, Greg. When somebody gets attacked, if you're right behind, you want to do that. You want to attack as well. So, just like that, Jackson Blackman finds himself back up in the 2nd. Kevin Almeida is trying to turn it back up underneath him, and now just looking 49.9 is what these guys did that lap, first flying lap through.
Now, Jason, any insight into the communication that'll go to as we look at Ashton Yates?
Good to see Ashton up and okay.
He's got a smile on his face. Any communication?
Here's the start. Now, look, he gets a great start, and we'll have to see. Gets that gear, but now the bike's just. The bike right now is probably. Oh my God! And he got hit too. So something either with the shifter. Let's see. I'm looking to see. Yeah, he can't. It's like he's having trouble with the shifter.
He grabbed a downshift.
Yeah, well, I think he was just trying to. The bike wasn't getting in gear, and you could see Kevin Almeida actually hit him at the start. And this was him coming down the front straightaway. And that's a horrible place to be in. You can see his arms are up. I'm wondering. This is going through the S's here, but I'm wondering if he got off the edge of the track just a little bit coming onto the front straightaway that first lap. Kevin Almeida has now made his way back through, but Jackson Blackman has taken the lead over Renzo. So now we got 2 Yamahas back up at the front, and Corey Ventura has also made the move on Alex for 4th. I really feel like Corey's a little bit of the danger guy here because he'll be sitting there watching what these 3 are doing, and just kind of thinking to himself, all right, I'll let this play out a little bit, but I expect to see Corey lead this race as well at some point.
So Jackson Blackman, who was one of our favorites we were talking about coming into this season, you know, a potential race winner and a championship contender, 6th in the points. He's only had 2 podiums. He didn't even really get started until our 10th round, our 10th race of the season. Jackson Blackman on that Riders Law Racing Yamaha. So round 10 was our race number 1 at Sonoma. So since then, he's had another podium finish. So Blackman's starting to come into his own late in the season, getting some things sorted out.
Both these guys are racing hard at the front right now. Jackson goes 48.9. Just only on our 2nd lap, but he's got his head down. You can see Kevin just looks like he's got pace kind of everywhere right now. He got drafted up that front straightaway 2 laps ago, and now he's trying to get himself back up to the front. And he does that as they head into the very fast kink turn 4, gets himself back up there. But look who's coming, number 64, Corey Ventura, now moves himself into 3rd spot and just kind of methodically picking his way forward, watching what these guys are doing in front. Renzo has a look back, sees Alex is back there with nobody behind them. So Alex is probably going to have a +5 or 6 on his pit board when he comes through.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about, that communication to let him know. Would he know at this point? Was there conversations about championship? Obviously, he knows that Corey Ventura is in the mix with him. So what do you think in terms of the communication? Are they going to let him know, or are they just going to let him race it out?
They're probably going to let Alex race it out. I mean, he already knows the position he's in right now. And he knows that he doesn't see Ashton anywhere in front of him, so I'm sure he's thinking about that. If he comes by and sees +6 or 7 on his board, I'm sure he's going to be probably wondering where Ashton's at, but at the same time, he's in a good spot right this second.
So good to see Ashton after an incident. He's sitting on pit wall, chatting and having a smile on his face.
Look at Corey, a lot of roll speed through that last corner. He pulls up along the outside of Jackson Blackman as they come down that front straightaway. Jackson's going to pull back in, but look at Renzo and Alex both get a run as they head down into turn number 1 here. Alex is going to go move through up to 2nd spot now. And Kevin Almeida 47.7, but the guy in 7th place is the guy I'm watching. A lot of purples on our screen for Mark Edwards. So Mark probably didn't get the best start. Right behind him, he's got Sean and Varsky as well, but Sean's a little further back. But Mark Edwards is running the same exact lap times as the leaders.
147.5, the fastest lap that we've recorded so far, just to give you an idea, versus what we do in the dry. Ashton Yates had qualified at a 32. So you're talking about 15-second difference in these conditions versus the dry conditions at the moment. So Olmedo, big mistake from the 14. He gets it in line. Now he can get away with that in conditions like this. Yes, it's wet, but there is traction here because there's no standing water in that spot.
You got to be a little bit careful though. He's trying to open up that turn, which is fine. You see Renzo now trying to go up underneath Alex, and he'll do that. You can see he's going through that right. But when you, in these conditions too, when you peel it back over and you're doing a downshift as well, and some of these guys I've already started to see them doing some downshifts in some spots that they wouldn't be doing it in the dry. So you just got to be careful with that little bit of transition. And that's why we saw that bike get out of shape just ever so slightly there for Kevin as he peeled there into turn 5.
Liqui Moly Junior Cup race action, working lap number 6 of 13. Alex Dumas, your championship points leader, dead smack in the middle of your screen, the number 23 on that KTM Orange Brigade JP43 training, trying to put his competitor Corey Ventura, who's third in the points, behind him so he can have a possibility of wrapping his championship up today or going in with just about as comfortable as lead as you can possibly have into tomorrow's race. But leading the way is Kevin Olmedo. And then it's Renzo Ferreira, 31, Alex Dumas, 23, Corey Ventura, 64, Jackson Blackman, 18. Behind them, you have Mark Edwards, who just set the fastest lap of the race again, now 146.735 for the rider in 6th spot, but he is 6.3 seconds behind Jackson Blackman. It's possible in these conditions. There's no doubt.
No, it is definitely possible. But it's a very hard condition to try to get yourself to push. And right now, these two guys here, Alex and Corey, they're going to be really watching what the two in front of them are doing. Renzo now is trying to close that gap back up to Kevin, who broke away that last lap almost a full second at the start-finish line. But you can see the 3 behind him going into turn 5. Little different lines, that's all. Oh, and Corey goes down.
I was just going to talk
just
about
getting
that.
on the gas. Corey goes down.
His second incident of the weekend, by the way. He crashed yesterday, and his team owner and mechanic, Melissa Paris, getting that bike back together in a very interesting and weird crash that he had in the dry. Now Ventura loses the rear end of this motorcycle. This could be it for this championship, folks. Someone has got to let this guy know that his championship rivals of Ashton Yates and Corey Ventura have exited this race. Ventura, it looks like he can pick it up. Keep in mind, we only pay back to 15 points.
Yeah.
And the difference is all Alex Dumas has to do is score 4 over Corey Ventura, and this championship is his today.
Yeah, if he does get it on his board, and I'm looking out our window here, and I'll try to get an idea. Corey's bike looks like it's just a little bit too damaged. That's too bad. And you can watch, the mistake made is so simple. He's just closes in a little bit on Alex. They go into turn 5, and look, Greg, I mean, the rear of the bike just literally rolls around on him, and that's almost unfair because it didn't look like he did anything wrong, and the rear of the bike just kind of snaps around on him. I mean, just immediately too, just no grip. So
tough. And left hand. It's a left corner, though,
that's
Jay.
right.
We talk about it.
The left-handers just don't have enough heat, do they, Greg?
No, I mean, the whole time, really. You got to really be careful in those left-handers, and it got away from him. So now Dumas is sitting in 3rd spot. And Jason, when you won your championships, was it critical? Was it important for you you wanted to be on the podium no matter what position it was in, holding that number 1 plate, or did it matter?
No, I mean, at this point, I think Alex now will feel that he can kind of, it almost takes a little bit of heat off him, I believe. I think if he was to know that both of his championship guys are out, you know, the talk that I had with him before the race is, hey, if you can win it, go win it. But now you're going to get yourself into a little bit of a championship mode and understand that you're at that time of the season where we got to use our racing intelligence a lot. And he's got so much of that, Greg. He's such a smart young man, and very rarely do you see him unhappy. He's always happy, and the thing is, his race intelligence, he's just a smart kid. And you know, right now he knows he's in a position to maybe try to wrap up this championship, which would be his first. So we'll see how he plays it out. With 6 laps to go, I think 5 this next time by. These guys are now dropped all into the 45s. The first 3 guys have all dropped into the 45s. So
yeah, Renzo, the owner now, the fast. Oh, a little bit of mist.
Yep.
On the camera lens.
So if it starts raining again, that could play into things as well.
I didn't see that before, so it might be raining in a different spot, which is actually good for the tires as Alex has a look over at his pit board, the third place rider. Now, one thing to keep in mind as well is the future for Alex Dumas. I had a conversation with M4X Star Suzuki team owner Chris Ulrich earlier, and he said no question he's got his eye on Alex Dumas for a possible 600 ride in that conversation, along with a bunch of other riders. Ulrich telling me that there's no doubt.
It's definitely raining, Greg. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No problem. That he's definitely going to come to the races next year with a fully loaded super sport team to contend the championship. And who he's looking at are a bunch of riders, but this is what this class is designed for, Jason. Liqui Moly Junior Cup is designed to showcase talent in front of this paddock and advance these riders from these 300cc machines, 390 machines, up to the 600 class.
And you'd expect that from a team like that. They've done a tremendous job bringing up young talent throughout the last 30 years of their careers.
Yeah, you could say
that. So you'd expect them to have an eye on this class for any young guys that might be coming up in 3. Here's a good look at Jay Newton, who right now is running in 6th spot. Like we've seen Jay run up at the front this year as well. Just up the road from him, Mark Edwards and Jackson Blackman. They're kind of all getting a little bit closer. I think Jackson's coming back to those guys ever so slightly.
So Jay Newton on the Monkey Moto AGV Sport entry out of Montgomery, Texas. So Newton, he'll be looking at his race start. Definitely it'll be something he's looking at because he's now 1.4 behind Mark Edwards, and they're about 5.8 behind Jackson Blackman. So Blackman faded a bit. Interesting to talk to him to see what happened.
I saw Alex's board, and it did say 64 out. So he probably knows. He probably knows that that Ashton's out, because I'm sure that was on the board earlier. As you see Renzo Ferreira make a big bid down into the inside of Kevin. Kevin's going to cut it back, try to cut it back up underneath him.
Got to be careful with that paint here.
Yep, absolutely right. We've seen that bite a couple people in the past, but now you can really see the rain coming down as they come up over the top of turn 2. It looks like the rain was coming down pretty good. But yeah, so now we know Alex knows that both of his title contenders are out. So that might just free him up a little bit to just kind of watch what these two guys do in front. And if he's able to do something with them at the end, I know him. He wants to win. These two guys are going to be battling hard, both of them. Kevin's never won before, so he's going to be hungry for that victory.
Renzo Ferreira out front now, trying to go for his 2nd win of the year. Number 31 on that quarterly racing Ninja 400 made by Kawasaki. Trying to get it done for his team. Looking pretty good. This is where conditions really get crazy, Jay, because it's like,
Look at Kevin. Wow, he's got a lot of speed up around there.
Speed.
Yep.
But as he bends it over, he's going to have the grip.
He's got a lot of confidence. You can see, look, he's trying to go down the inside. He set that up so far back to Kevin. He set that up really going up the hill.
Left side of the tire.
Really good.
Left side of that tire.
Yep.
That we know has spun some people out. Definitely we saw that in Superbike earlier on today in the rain. Getting on that left side of the tire and get a little aggressive with the throttle. Spin the rear end out.
Look at this. He literally set that up all the way through the big, long right-hander, Greg. Just carried that momentum as they made the switch from turns 9 to turns 10. He was able to just go up underneath him as they headed into turn 10 there. And now we got a big battle in the front.
Here we go.
Yep, and Alex just went purple in the 2nd and the 4th sector. So he's just been sitting there watching these guys do their thing and just kind of been looking and assessing the situation. All 3 of our front runners now are into the 44s. So 44.6, 44.4, and 44.6.
And lap traffic.
That's correct. Yeah, now they're going to have a little bit of traffic to deal with. And you'd expect that a little bit in days like today where you might see a little bit more traffic than you would other times.
Oh, now
looks like Alex just got hung up a little bit. And that's going to be the difference where he's going to probably be thinking to himself, all right, I got to just be smart here. Don't push the situation. Still 4 laps to go.
Renzo has a look over his shoulder. Sees an eye full of Kevin.
You can really see Kevin's eyes through that windscreen, boy. His eyes they're really big, looking at what he wants to do. And this is where he's so good. He gets such a good run through this whole little section. Greg, he carries a lot. Look at the difference in lines. Where's Alex? Alex has had an issue because he was not in our screen there. So I'm wondering if something's happened. There it is. Alex Dumas makes a huge mistake and crashes in turn, what would it be, Greg? Turn 6.
Yeah.
So that's a big error there for Alex as they go through turn 6. Probably lost the front, I'm assuming. And these two guys are just heads down right now, racing hard at the front.
So incredible for the championship, Jason, as we look at these. This is the battle for first place between Kevin Almeida and Renzo Ferreira. Renzo on the 31, Almeida on the 14. That's Yamaha versus Kawasaki. But Alex Dumas, who's leading this championship, is out. Ashton Yates is out. Corey Ventura is out.
Wow.
That means that the points difference is going to remain the same.
And Kevin was in there so deep as you get a look at Alex there on the outside of turn 6. And yeah,
there's the rain coming down.
Yeah, you can see the rain coming, but these guys aren't really slowing down. They're still, look at Kevin, look at the amount of corner speed he carries. And he just kind of flings it back over to the left as well. He's got so much confidence in that R3 and how it's performing cornering-wise.
But you can look at the suspension on that bike when he's flipping it around. I mean, he's bouncing all around, and that's not always great for traction. As KTM is going to have to wait another day, at least, for their championship. Alex Dumas has got to get out of this weekend with at least 50 points. He has more wins than anyone. Dumas has 8 on the season, Ashton Yates 3, Corey Ventura 1. So in the championship fight, it's basically equal. It's like today for those top 3. And by the way, fourth in the point is Jay Newton. He's 107 behind, but there's only 100 points available. So it is mathematically possible that only those 3, Dumas, Yates, and Ventura, could actually wrap it up this year. So, yeah, we're going to have to wait one more day to see how that goes, but the magic number for Dumas now is going to be 50. He's got to have 50 points.
And when you think about these two guys are going at it, they got an 11-second lead over Mark Edwards, who has now moved himself ahead of Jackson Blackman.
Unreal.
And
what a ride.
Jackson's on a fast lap himself right now. He's gone green, so we'll keep an eye on that battle for third. But they're pretty close. Number 76 has gone down. It's Gavin Anthony, I believe. Yep, Gavin Anthony. And for good measure,
gets both sides of the bike.
Yep, they got both sides of the bike now. And here you go. Kevin's really strong in the turn 1. Last lap, he was right behind Renzo. This time, he's going to go up underneath him. And you can see he was so close to Renzo when they were tipping in. I was worried about him getting up the back of Renzo. This time, he put himself to the right. He's able to make that pass. Now, this is where he's been fast. Here you go. Mark Edwards, Jackson Blackman going for that third spot. We've seen Mark running up front this year as well. And he's come through the field and really made up a lot of time. At one point, he was 7 seconds back. So he was a long way back at one point. Again, you can still see that the rain kind of lashing down over there in that turn 2 area.
Which has implications on what happens later on today, as we still have Super Sport and Motul Superbike on deck. Coming up after this as we transition to the linear network here in about 39 minutes. Back up front, this battle, number 14 is Kevin Almeida. And Kevin on that Monkey Moto AGV sport machine trying to hold off the quarterly racing entry of Renzo Ferreira. Of course, for Almeida, one podium finish, and that was the 4th race of the year, which was Virginia number 2. And since then, Kevin hasn't seen the podium, but he's had a couple of 4th place finishes. So going, if he could hold on here and grab a win.
Oh, Jackson, just looking in the second split, Greg. I haven't seen Jackson go through as we get a good look at our leaders. And I'm wondering because, let's see. Yep, that's why I was a little worried about that, Greg. I saw Jackson Blackman did go down. Not sure where, but somewhere in the second sector because he didn't pop up on our screen. So I didn't get to see as you see white flag waving for the leaders as they come across the line.
The final lap of this one, and Kevin Almeida putting on a great show.
Oh, Renzo
reeled him in hard on that one.
45.2 to 45.6, so they've slowed down just barely. I mean, the fast lap of the race, 44.6.
Look at the rain coming down now. You can see the eyes of Kevin Almeida.
Yeah, he's got a lot of focus.
Absolutely. Talking to David Roy, the owner of this Monkey Moto AGV Sport team, just before this race, he said, one thing about my team right now, all my guys love the rain. And Jason, that's a big attitude you have to have when you come into these races.
Gotta love it.
Is raining.
You have to love riding in this stuff. And you can see now, Renzo has a look, and Kevin's got the thing out of shape again a little bit as they go into turn 5. Both guys make it out of turn 5 clean, Greg. That's a turn that we've seen a lot of little incidents in. So now Renzo's got to start to think about where would he make this move, because the guy leading right now is incredibly good up through 8 and 9. My bet is that Renzo's trying to think to himself if he can get close enough to maybe try to draft him, they're going to have one person that looks in front of him that they've got to try to get past. They're lapping somebody just in front. I have to see who that is, Greg.
Here we go. This is into the tight section of this racetrack. That can be a little
lapping,
one line.
Looks like they're lapping Gage Reese. Yep.
Yeah. Gage went down.
Gage does a good job. It just kind of, Gage looked like he might have gone down at some point during this race.
Yeah, left side of the bike was caked. Anyway, so here we are working this last lap. There's the AGV Sport Monkey Moto team.
Oh, Renzo goes down.
down.
Wow. But what can you say? Kevin Almeida just rode incredible this race and kept pressure on.
So Renzo goes down, but will Kevin Almeida make it? Here he comes onto the front straightaway, and Kevin will take his first win here in Liqui Moly Junior Cup.
Man, he rode so well, Greg. Congratulations to that whole team and Kevin. Of course, Renzo's still trying to get the bike up and run. And Mark Edwards is going to come through in second. Who's going to move up to third, though, Greg? Because we saw Jackson had gone down. Is that going to maybe promote Jay Newton up to third? They're both going at it. It looks like they're coming to the line now.
As we see on our timing and scoring screen, you can see the 98, Jay Newton. Wait a second.
What's going on? What do we got here?
Wait a second.
It looks like Jay Newton did, because number 73 was coming to the line with him, but he's not even on our screen. So I'm not sure if
and maybe he was lap traffic.
Yep, it could have been. That's exactly what it was, because I just saw Damian Jigulov go across the line. So, oh God, you can see him go down. Royan Dutchlander was the guy that came across the line with Jay, but Jay's going to finish third. You can see Renzo just lost the bike from underneath him.
Jason, if you're a team owner, what's your ultimate scenario?
Got to go top three, all eyes on the podium,
top
don't you?
Three. Hats off to the Monkey Moto AGV Sport team. On our timing and scoring screen, Kevin Almeida, who rides for Monkey Moto AGV Sport. Best Mark Edwards, who rides for Monkey Moto AGV Sport. Best Jay Newton, who rides for the Monkey Moto AGV Sport team.
Unreal.
Those three riders will stand on the podium in what could be David Roy's probably having a heart attack right now.
Mark doesn't even know what place he's in. Mark just went by Kevin. Kevin knows he's won. Mark doesn't even know what place he finished. And then you've got behind them Jay Newton. I saw Jay going across the line, not sure where he finished. There might be a party in that pit tonight. I'm just saying.
You think so?
I know the kids. I get it. But there might be a party. David Roy is probably going to be able to use this win ad for quite a few years to come.
So Damian Jigulov, fourth place. That young rider, his best finish is second already. Then you have Joe Blasius, who finishes fifth. Jamie Ostadio in sixth spot. Sean Umbarski in seventh. Jake Leclerc in eighth. And Toby Kamsuk ninth, with Jackson Blackman credited as 10th, so he's able to pick it up. Renzo
got it.
In 11th spot. So quite a mess we had on the racetrack. Riders going down, picking it up.
And that's what can happen in these races, though, Greg. Yeah. You just see the craziest stuff.
And a lesson for you young riders. Never give up. Always get to your motorcycle. Make sure you check it. Make sure it's rideable, because especially in the rain.
Look at Renzo, poor guy.
Yeah, he's having
a good talk with himself right now.
What language, though?
Yeah, well, if you've ever watched, you could almost see the tears through his helmet right now, how sad he is. But you know what, Renzo, you were fighting for the front. You were doing everything you could. And it happens, kid. I mean, it does. It's happened to everybody at one point or another. And you're going to see, I fully believe that what Renzo was thinking was, this was a little bit earlier in the race. If you look at the back of our screen, you're going to see this. And that's actually Ashton Yates coming onto the front straightaway. Look at him, arms up in the air. Please, nobody hit me. And all these riders did a tremendous job of seeing Ashton, and he was able to get out of the way. But Renzo was fighting for a win. There you go, a little look at Ashton a little bit later on. And this is when Corey Ventura actually slid off, I believe, Greg. Yep, you can see the rear of the bike just kind of snapped around on him, and he fell over. We had just so much attrition. All our points leaders, our top three guys, this guy, he's going to, you can see, he's not stoked with himself at all, is Alex Dumas. That's a big thing. I mean, Alex had a hand on the trophy today. He's just sitting right there in front of him. So for him to do that was just a big mistake for him. And I'm seeing guys getting piggyback rides in. I can see Jackson's right in front of you. You can see all these guys that are coming in on our screen. Greg and I are just to the left part of your screen in that building. So they ride right in front of us. And I've seen a lot of guys get piggybacked in.
I'm just shocked at Alex Dumas. I mean, I've never been in that position at this level. And I just think to myself, man, I know he wanted to win the race, but just Cadillac at home.
I love this shot. This is amazing. Look at all the crew, all the team. See Chuck Graves there. In the bottom of our picture. Brian J. always getting the good pictures, always getting the good shots. There's going to be a lot of emotion with that team.
Right part of your screen there is David Roy, who's a former AMA racer himself.
Yep.
And he is the owner, the importer of AGV Sport Leather. So you think that this is going to make the catalog, the AGV Sport
So
catalog
great.
next year? I guarantee you it will.
These are the kind of things that happen in racing where it makes you happy that they happen. There's so much hard work goes in, and to run a 3-rider team, to field a 3-rider team, there's a lot of personnel, a lot of hard work. It's a sweep for the Yamaha R3s on the podium as you get a look at what the championship points were going to be. Now, after this one, you see where they're at, Greg.
Yeah, the top 3 identical to the way it was because there was an exit non-finish for Alex Dumas, Ashton Yates, and Corey Ventura.
Crazy.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you would have never thought all 3 of those guys would tip over.
No, especially after the 2 rivals.
Correct.
So as we go on back through the points, you can see, Renzo, Mark Edwards, and so now we have another winner in the class. So it'll be 5 different race winners in the Liqui Moly Junior Cup class. As for, let's see, Jay Newton, that'll be Jay Newton's 4th podium finish of the season. So he's got 2 second places, and that'll be his 2nd third place finish. As for Mark Edwards, Mark Edwards, Jason, this is going to be Mark's 1st podium of the year.
Amazing.
So we can add another podium finisher. That takes up to 13 different riders this season that have been able to finish on the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. And none of them, the guys in 2nd and 3rd didn't even know what place they were in. They had no clue. So what a nice surprise to get back and see your whole team is going to winner's circle. Every single person is going there. And you can see right in the center of the screen, Mark Edwards is saying, guys, I didn't even know what place I was in. I didn't know where I was, what I was doing. And and here you go. This is the pass for the lead with 2 to go. Kevin Almeida kind of was able to slide himself up underneath Renzo down into turn 1. And from that point, he really put the pressure on just by the pace he was running, and was able to just eke out a little bit of a lead and put a little pressure on Renzo to try to keep close before they came to the start-finish line. But at the end, it was this guy just by himself. And here you go, Greg. These 2 guys, they didn't know what place they finished. Mark Edwards, Kevin says 2nd, and Mark said, I don't have a clue.
That was a massively entertaining race. Liqui Moly Junior Cup.
Look at this. This is so cool. Love seeing this kind of thing.
Congratulations to the AGV Sport Monkey Moto team on their podium sweep here.